Um, Most common challenge. I think I'm going to take a moment to talk about autistic burnout. Um, I think this might be something, and I think that is sort of maybe the outcome of, or like the culmination potentially of series of challenges that can sometimes go on or can be sort of micro challenges on a day-to-day basis. And so I sort of referred to, previously not knowing I was autistic and sort of compensating and navigating things and masking so much that I was really just depleting my battery, on an ongoing basis. And so by the time the workday would come, I don't have, I often wouldn't have capacity for much more. And so with that reality, eventually that turns into that has a compounding impact. And while there's a lot of things that can sort of mitigate the reality of autistic burnout, also the reality is that autistic people are still autistic when they're not working, right? So we're still processing, we're still living a full life that, we're also experiencing lots of processing from, lots of, stimulus from, and things like that. And the outcome, if we're not really in a workplace where we have an opportunity to engage in flexible supports or to not mask for a day, or have sort of, a comfortable enough relationship that you can say, to your manager, hey, I'm really burnt out, I need a day. Not being in positions where you're not really able to do that, at the end of the day becomes a retention issue. And becomes like you have an employee that, becomes a retention issue or potentially can become a performance issue, depending on how it's impacting someone. And so, but in the background, you potentially have an autistic person who's completely burnt out from their environment, and sort of the ongoing things that they're experiencing. And a really simple example I can give is I did not know, despite working 8 years in an office, that I have a sensitivity to overhead lighting. So almost around 1 p.m. every day, I would get a brutal headache that would often mean that I really struggled to be overly productive in the afternoon. And I really struggled with it. It was something I felt a lot of shame about. I didn't understand why it was so hard for me. And then I started working from home and I got an overhead lamp that goes right over my computer. And now I no longer have sort of that sensory overwhelm was resulting in burnout, as an example. And so now that I have the flexibility to, one, be at home, but also to understand these sort of options, I'm able to mitigate the potential challenges, and it increases my capacity to deal with other challenges. And so that was a really roundabout sort of way of saying that autistic burnout is a reality for many autistic employees. It is not the same as sort of how we regularly talk about burnout. Autistic burnout can come in cycles of, you could be burnt out by noon on a day. You could be burnt out, a couple times a week. The cycles are incredibly different, and sort of acknowledging that and providing flexibility for people to take care of themselves how they need to, while still being able to do their job, is a delicate balance to find, but it's possible.